So we now bring in the head coach out there at Air Force, Bill Wilson. Bill, I want to start with, obviously, you took over this program a couple of years ago when there was some more uncertainty. Now, after you have an entire 2019 season, an entire fall, how does things feel there in terms of the program and stability?
I think our guys are doing a really good job. If you look at the captains that our team chose over the course of the fall season, they did a really nice job choosing people that would lead them in practice up in the squadron and within our program. So we're excited for the future. Our guys from inside out have really done a nice job filling roles that some of our seniors who graduated last year left behind. And it's been really fun watching our guys develop as a team.
And looking back at what you guys did a year ago and the pieces that you bring back, you have to be pretty happy with the offensive pieces that you have. It seems like you got some good continuity coming back there. What does that mean for what you guys want to do offensively here in 2020?
Well, I think from an offensive standpoint, we definitely returned some goal scorers at attack at midfield. We've been very fortunate that we do have some more depth at both positions. So in the fall, what we've noticed in practice is our young guys are pushing our older players. They've been very productive at all positions. So whether it's a senior at the attack position or whether it's an upperclassman in the midfield, we do have more guys that have been executing. So we're going to be able to play more people in the future. So I think that speaks to what our offense can look like or has the potential to look like going into 2020. Hopefully we can continue our growth, and then we figure to be a more up-tempo team.
Competition, always a good thing. And you speak of competition, and the SOCON, maybe one of the more competitive conferences we saw in all of college lacrosse last year. When you look at what High Point did in the non-conference and Richmond, and you guys are up there as well competing with those teams. When you see what all those teams are doing in the non-conference and your difficult non-conference schedule, what do you see when you look at the landscape of the conference?
Well, I think everyone's proud of what our conference continues to do as we grow. In the years to come, I'm sure we're going to see even more growth as a conference. Individually, a lot of big wins in the conference last year. And if you go back 2-3 years, Richmond, High Point, Air Force have made some pretty significant wins outside of the conference. So I would figure that would continue. And just like any conference, you would want to have more representation in the NCAA tournament, and I would think that's a reality for the future.
And what's the atmosphere like when you get to the conference tournament, a place that you guys are in, and you're all battling for that one spot, despite the fact, and I know that this is a talking point around High Point, especially from last year, but despite the fact that at this point, you're kind of feeling like maybe there is only one spot.
Everyone has an opportunity to get to that next level, and it's by winning your conference tournament. So we believe that as a team, if we do our work and we achieve our goals, we're going to be able to earn that number one seed and win that automatic qualifier. And I'm sure the other programs think the same way. We all want to play a challenging out-of-conference schedule. Our out-of-conference schedule needs to prepare us for our conference play. Our conference games are the most important games on our schedule. That being said, we want to make sure that we're playing the best lacrosse teams in the country every year.
Well, you return, we talked about the offense, but you also returned a goalie in Braden Host, who had really good numbers last year. What have you seen from him in his first couple years on campus and now as he gets to be an upperclassman?
Well, it's part of the journey here at the Air Force Academy as the guys develop into second lieutenants for our Air Force, right? And Braden, looking at him as a freshman to where he is right now, he's really grown by leaps and bounds. He's a voice on the field. He's a voice in the huddle. He's a voice in the locker room. He's a junior captain for us this year, and when we have our individual meetings with our leadership, he isn't afraid to speak up. He's respected by his teammates, and he's done a fantastic job. So we look forward to his continued growth in the future and for great things to come. In the goal, his numbers were terrific last year, and I would also think that has a lot to do with the men that play in front of him, and he has that quality. The guys want to play for him.
You mentioned the guys in front of him. Brandon Jones was obviously a great player, went on to play some pro this summer as well. How does the defense kind of react to having to fill the void of losing the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference last year?
Yeah, Brandon Jones played every game for us over the course of his time here at the Academy. He was an integral role in success during his time, and for years to come, he built a huge foundation for us. in terms of his IQ on field, his quiet confidence, his ability to pull a guy aside and have those side conversations to build confidence within our younger players. So that is definitely missed, but we're fortunate to have some young men that have stepped up this fall, and I'm encouraged by what we saw in the fall, and we look forward to those personalities rising to the top this spring.
So finally, you look at your schedule and you guys start with a bang. You go to Duke, and then you got Denver coming to your place, and that's just the start of a very competitive non-conference schedule. You also got Virginia on there as well, especially for those first couple of games, February 1st and I believe 8th. How do you guys get that team ready in the month of January to be able to start and compete with some of the best teams in the country right away?
Well, I think our season started back in August whenever our guys arrived on campus, and I think our guys have had their eye on our season from day one. So they've been working very hard this fall in preparation, and they didn't need to be in their best shape of their lives on August 15th. They need to be in terrific shape when they come back after winter break, so that we can focus more on the lacrosse parts and sharpening our skill set individually and as a team, getting ready in all phases of the game for that first scrimmage at the end of the month against Notre Dame. And we'll focus on that to become the best we can be. But bottom line is we believe we can beat any team on any given day. And we just need to make sure that we focus on ourselves and play against whatever team rolls out in the field that day. So it just happens to be against a top 5, potentially a number 1 team in the country in Duke. They're a perennial top 5 program. They're competing for a national championship every year. And that's our goal as a program. So we want to make sure that we test our guys, and especially early in the season, finding out who we are. We'd rather play against the best competition so that we can get better as a program and get ready for conference play.
Well, you guys have certainly shown you can play with anybody over the last couple of years. Bill, we look forward to seeing you guys in action this spring. We'll catch up again down the road, all right?
Thank you for your time, Travis.